Okay, so I have a little bit of clay left here, the air drying clay, and rather than leaving it go to waste or trying to repackage it, because you can see that the package is torn, I'm going to make a little robin. I made a couple of these here so you can see what they look like, and although they probably look quite complex to people, you'd be surprised how easy it would be to make something like this. Okay, so I only have a small bit of clay left anyway. I'm going to take a piece in my hand about the size of the robin like that, and with this kind of clay you have to be careful not to handle it too much, because it will dry out in your hands, and because it's air drying clay, it's difficult once you've it started to dry to get it to come back again. It's not the normal kind of clay where you can just put it in water. I can see I need a little bit more than that maybe. So all I'm trying to do first of all is to smoothen out any cracks in the clay, but I'm also thinking about the basic shape of a bird. I'm pointing this slightly at one end. Always worth having a little bit of water handy just to keep things moving. I'm pointing it a little bit at one end, and then at the other end I'm making the shape of a head. Okay, it's very, very simple. Round it off so you've got the shape of a head, and then a little bit of work along the back here where the neck would be, and going into a point where the tail would be. Most birds' tails, including a robin, will be, especially small birds, will be slightly rounded at the end, not pointed. But you could make it pointed as well, because some birds do have pointed tails. Okay, so that's the basic sort of bird shape. I'm going to point a little bit of clay here to make the beak. Use a small bit of water just to smooth it off. Okay. Already it's looking quite bird-like. Okay. So lay that down. And the next thing I'm going to do is to make some wings for it. So the wing shape, I'll show you. Take a piece in your hand, not too big. Once again, try and make sure there are no cracks in it. A little bit of water. And you're going to make two of these before you attach it, okay, so that you kind of get them about the same size. So a wing shape will be kind of rounded at one end and more pointed at the other. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to make another one close as possible to that. Once again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because it'll still look good even if it's slightly imperfect. Two basic wing shapes, and then we're going to attach the wings. Add a small bit of water to the back of it, and I'm laying it down onto the bird like that, with the wing, the pointed bit pointing upwards and backwards. You can see that, but we need to bring the two together. So using your back of your nail, you could use a clay tool if you have something as well, or even the end of a small paintbrush. Very handy for blending clay together. Okay, so there's one, and again this one goes this way, so make sure you put them on the right way. The point goes up and back a bit. A little bit of glue on there, water on there. I said glue, but I mean, I suppose in a way it is. The water is acting as a kind of glue. Press the two together. You want to try and make that connection as smooth as possible here, so that you don't really see it. The water and the back of your nail will help to blend the two things together. And there's a little Now on these ones you can see they almost have a small stand, and the reason I put that was because obviously a bird, if it was sitting out in the garden resting somewhere, would have its legs to stand on, but making legs would be quite tricky because they're so fine. So you're going to have to make something that makes it stand up and gives the impression of it being lifted off the ground. So I've just made a little roundy shape with a flat side like this, placing it on the bottom, and I'm going to, once again, I'm going to attach this together using the back of my nail. The smoother you make that connection, the less likely it will be to come apart. And we'll have this one pointing upwards. So there you can see it's already giving the feeling of a bird looking upwards. Now you want to put eyes. Now a cocktail stick would work, or the end of the brush would work. Make a hole like this. Try and put them on the side of the head. So we have the eyes, or the eye holes, made using the ends of the brush, a small brush like this. Okay, and then all it is to finish off is to, you can see I put a few little strokes in the back, the head, the tips of the wings, and on the tummy. Okay, you don't want to overdo these. So it's, once again, using a cocktail stick or a small bradawl like this, small little strokes. I want to make them too big, just on the head, and then a little bit down the back. And it's important to do these delicately and all in the same direction. And then when it comes to the tail, you can do longer ones. Okay? And the same with the wings. You can do longer ones on the wings. Put in a few little small strokes as well. Often there are markings on wings, so it's okay to sort of do some sort of spots. That can look quite good. And sometimes even just laying the tool like that and pressing rather than dragging the tool through looks good. And then a little bit on the tummy. Okay. And a little bit on the throat. And that should be enough. That really should be enough. Maybe just make sure it's all standing properly, not falling over, and then leave it to dry. Thank you.